Hey, what is up guys? New Tech Begins here. In this video we're gonna go ahead and install Ubuntu Studio, Kinetic Kudu on RAID 0. To accomplish this, we're gonna go ahead and boot with the low latency option. Let's boot from the USB stick. And now let's see if we can create a RAID 0. Now at this moment we have just Ubuntu Studio on a normal desktop, but we would like to put this on RAID if we can. So let's see here if we can start the Dolphin. Okay, 1.7 terabyte, which is only one SSD. I want to use all 3 SSDs. So I want to go ahead and launch gparted. It's not yet installed. We will install this, no problems. Everything is going to be alright. So let me see here, gparted. To your extremely secure password. Alright, so we have here at this moment one SSD on which we installed Ubuntu Studio. Now we want to go ahead and install it on RAID 0. Should be able to do that. Yeah, we should be able to do that. That will give us then a total of 6 terabyte instead of 1.7 terabyte, as you can see here. Okay, without further ado, let's begin. Let's boot from the USB Ubuntu stick, USB Ubuntu drive, and see if we can remove all the partitions. Boot from the UEFI. So what I did here is just install it on one SSD with the Calamares installer, but Calamares is not accepting a bootable RAID 0. I did not succeed to finish that until the end, unless the other installer, which is called Ubiquity, that one is working fine. As you can see here, this one is the Calamares installer. So Calamares installer will look like this, as you can see here. But it's on for the partitions. It does not have the options to choose, for example, nswap and the ext partition. So we will use the Ubiquity installer. Strangely enough, it takes the Ubiquity from if we try to install it, it takes the Ubiquity from Kubuntu, from the Kubuntu packages. So we'll try to do that. If we type in here Ubiquity, it says okay, it's not found, it can't be installed with sudo apt install Ubiquity. First we need to do sudo -s and then apt get update, sudo update the software from here to have access to Ubiquity. Alright, and then we type in let's do this again, Ubiquity. It says so here to install apt install Ubiquity. Alright, and now we say yes. Okay, now it's installing the Ubiquity installer. But first we must start with to erase the SSDs, all three. So we will need for that gparted. Let's see if it's already here. We'll install that again from the Discover software panel. Let's install it. Let's launch it. Alright, so now we can just click once on each partition. It looks grayed out, but it is not. So you can just click on it and then it will work. So we will do all three at the same time if we can. Let's see here. Let's add another task. This one and also the C. So total we will have 3 times 2, which will make 6 terabyte of data. See if we can erase this. These are 3 SSDs here. Apply. Okay. Now let's see if they are clean. B and C, yes. I always like to create a new partition table when I do this, just to have everything fresh, new install. And we choose GPT. It's Linux based GPT table, so we will put GPT. Erase the entire disk on GPT. Alright, C, last one. And GPT, where is it? Right here. Okay. Once we have done this, we can go back to our console and open up the instructions of how to install Ubuntu on RAID 0. So we type in on DuckDuckGo github Ubuntu on RAID 0. Alright, so let me just zoom it in a little bit here. Okay, so we start to type in the following commands. Sudo s. Just copy and paste line by line. We will be good to go. Install the MD admin. Which is the software tool. We can create a RAID array. Then we will install the grub. After the grub, we will initialize the 3 disks, starting by A, B, and C. Since we have 3 SSDs, we do that. If you have 2 SSDs, you have to do A and B only. If you have 5 SSDs, then you have to do A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. So you have to watch out according to your quantity of disks what you type in. Okay, so now here we continue with the next step, which is the avboot command. So here we make an avboot partition. It says 100, but it's a little bit too small. To my opinion, we will put 300 instead of 100, so 300 megabytes. Alright, then also this one here is important. You have to watch out. The swap file depends on the quantity of disks you have. So let's say if you have 3 disks, you want 8 gigs of swap, you have to divide the 8 gigs into 3. So if we go to our calculator, then that will give us a nice calculator here, as you can see. So we got 8. We want 8 gigs of swap divided by 3. 26660. So we have to type in megabytes, of course. 2667 megabyte. So if we go back to our calculator, and if I do 2667 multiplied by 3, because it are 3 SSDs, it will give 8, you see, 8 gigs of swap. So that's good. We just press enter. There we go. Now the last line is easy. That's the stripe set for MD1, and let's just copy and paste that. No modifications. Okay. Now we continue. The next step is to replicate the disks. So if we watch now here on clear and we do an LSBLK, we see that we have 3 partitions, but the third one didn't come through because we have to reboot the system. We will do that. So reboot and just press enter. That doesn't mean that you need to repeat all the commands, just a few of them. Only we can skip the sgdisks commands. You can skip them because we already did them. Okay, if your BIOS, like my BIOS, does not recognize the UEFI info, you have to reinstall the BIOS, which we will do just 5 seconds. Bear with me 1 second. I go into the BIOS, I grab my BIOS disk and do a tool instant flash. This normally is not necessary with new motherboards. My motherboard is the Z97 from 2013. It's an oldie one, but it still works just fine. So and I like to use it. So you can skip this option. I'm just showing it just for the purpose of this video, to complete this video, to make a nice video. How I succeeded to install RAID 0 with Ubuntu Studio. Oh yeah. Okay, so here we can press enter, And we put back our Ubuntu Studio disk. Press F11. You see it's all clean now. The 3 disks, my Blu-ray disc, and the USB, which recognizes legacy, and UEFI. So we go with UEFI option. It's all fresh and clean now. F11. Don't worry if it reboots multiple times, that's normal. The second time it goes just fine. Ubuntu Studio. Let's boot again from that one. Alrighties. There we go. Alright, there we are back again into our Ubuntu Studio installer. Let's start with the console. Zoom it in a little bit. You can see better what I type. Wait a few seconds until the Firefox comes up. Sudo -s is the first command we will type. Have to click well. Let's go from here, maybe it's better. All applications and Firefox, where is it? Let's go from here. Alright, so there we have Firefox, duckduckgo.com, blah blah blah. And again we type in github Ubuntu on RAID 0. Alright, then we click on here, install Ubuntu on RAID 0 by Umpersky. Alright, so was it? It's already here. So we just can skip the sgdisks command, and the rest we can insert, copy and paste. So let's continue with the second line here. Number 5 is this one. Install mdadmin again. Install the grub. Let's do an lsblk just to check if it's there. Yes, it is. The first drive has three partitions: the AV partition, the swap partition, which will later then give a total of 3 times 2.6, which is 8, and the stripe set, which will give 3 times 1.8, 3 times 2 is 6 terabyte of data. Okay, let's replicate the other two by doing this line here. This is the replication command. Let's see, just press enter from A to B and from A to C. Could also do from B to C, it's the same. Let's do A to C. lsblk, and as you can see, we have replicated all 3. And now we have 7.8 of swap, which is MD0, and the other one has to be taken effect. So we have to reboot again. I know, it's like this. Don't worry. Boot on your USB stick. Where is it? F11 and UEFI. Ubuntu Studio, and press enter. The nice thing about this Ubuntu Studio is that it has already all the applications pre-installed. All the studio applications are there. So OBS, video editing tool, Kdenlive, Krita, photo editing tools. That's just fantastic. I mean, that's amazing. And now let's see if we can get this operating system on a RAID 0, and it has to be bootable. That is the criteria what we are doing now today. Okay, now don't use the Calamares setup as we said before. We stick with our Ubiquity, but first we have to do again the console. Zoom it in here. Sudo -s again. lsblk just to check here. And now you can see that we have 3 times the same partitions, which is really nice. Now we have to make the RAID stripe set for the swap and also for the RAID stripe set. So let's begin. Open up the internet, type again DuckDuckGo, GitHub, Ubuntu on RAID 0. There we go again. Let me just zoom this in for you guys. Okay, so let's do this. Sudo S. Oh, went too fast. Could do Ctrl+Shift+V to copy, to paste it. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+Shift+V. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+Shift+V. Or you could do just with the mouse, copy and paste it, the old traditional way. First 3 commands. So the sgdisk commands, we do not need to do them again because we already did them. If you do them, you will destroy again the partitions. So you have to watch out here. Now we start from step 13. Also the replication, you don't need to do that again. So from step 13, we start from there. And paste this one. Paste. Oh, what did I do? Choose something else. Just paste it there. Okay. Paste. And paste. Okay, so that's nice. So now we have to follow these instructions here. 5. Yeah, the next thing will be this thing here, which is the MD admin. So you're gonna create the swap file, which is the MD0, and then we are going to create the stripe set, which is MD1. We start with the swap file. Watch out here, because we have to put the quantity, the correct quantity of the disks. In the example, they assume that you have only 2 SSDs, but in our case, we have 3 SSDs, so we need to type in first numlock on 3, And we need to add an additional partition, which is C. It points to the second part of each partition. So A2, B2 and C2, which are 3 in total. Enter. Yes. Alright, now the next thing is the main stripe set. Be careful here. Just be careful here. Also, we have to put here 3. I always like to add the cache option, which is chunk 256 equals 256k, like the old Cupertino OS X from Yosemite option, which was the 64k, 128k, 256k. You could choose what cache size to use on your SSDs or HDDs. I always like to use chunk 256, okay? Which will make a faster rate. So 3 partitions, third part of each tree. Yes. Alright, LSB and now, as you can see, we got the RAID stripe set ready, and our swap is also ready. That's great. Continue. We have to format the MD0. We will do that by going to this command here. And we have to format the MD1. If it gives error, just ignore it. As long as your backup header is okay, you can continue, no problems. MD1. Okay. Then we will tag them as a swap partition. MD0 is the swap partition, and MD1 is our RAID stripe set, RAID 0. There we go. Okay, now the important step. We don't use the Calamares setup, but we use Ubiquity. We don't have Ubiquity yet, because if we type in Ubiquity, it's not installed yet. So we will install it. First we have to do sudo apt get update to update the software, PPAs, etc. Okay, and then we do again Ubiquity. So we type in apt install Ubiquity. Yes. And now it will install the Ubiquity. It takes the Ubiquity from Ubuntu. That's normal. So now if we continue the next step, it will be Ubiquity -B. Don't worry if it hangs. It's perfectly normal. Just have to follow the instruction here, and then at the end, never click on restart, but just continue testing. That's an option, or just continue without restarting. Okay, Ubiquity -B. Ubiquity -B and press enter. There we have our Ubiquity, famous classic style installer, and this one will allow us to install RAID 0 on a stripe set, which is really nice. Okay, it's doing the stuff here. It's preparing the Ubuntu drivers. If it gives KD diamond notifications, just ignore them by clicking the cross arrow and As you can see here, the RAID 0 is already recognized. 6 terabyte, which is fantastic. You need to choose manual in this case and then continue. I tried also the guided option, but that did not work for me. So choose manual, and then here you see this is the swap file. Just double check it by going to change and leave it as swap. This needs to be swap, okay. And this one here, you click on, it's the 6 terabyte, you click on change, and we need to use that as an ext4. Format the drive here, be sure this is activated, and you have to choose root. Just this the first option, which was already good, and then okay. And wait a few seconds, and then we go again here where it's got an empty spot. Just click on there. It has to be selected, MD1P1, okay. And then install now, and then it asks the phone partitions are going to be formatted. Partition RAID 0, 0 as a swap, and RAID 01 as ext4. Continue. Now here at the bottom it will start doing things, which is normal. You just have to continue. Wait a few seconds and then do continue. Alright, erase your name here above and put in your new name. I like to keep it easy and put here Ubi. Just your extremely secure password. Retype your password. Computer name is Quitty. So username Ubi, computer name Quitty. But use whatever name you prefer. Just keep it short, and you will be good to go. So as you can see here at the bottom, it's still creating the root partition. It's at 30%. Now it starts copying the files. Just wait here. Don't click continue yet, because otherwise the installer will crash. Then you need to redo it again. Just let it go as far as possible here. It will give us an error message, or that the installer is not finished, something like that. But just ignore the error message. Don't close the Ubiquity installer. Do not close it. Almost finished copying the files. It's at 96. Just let them do the thing as far as you can, and okay, now this side is finished, so we click on continue once. This is normal now. It is as if it has hanged, but you have to wait because it's still doing things. You see, now it starts to copying the files here, scanning the mirror, retrieving the files. So you really have to be patient here and just let him do his thing. Don't click on continue yet unless it finishes. So it has to be at 100%. Now here at the user, it gives this error. Now this means you have to relaunch it again from here. If it hangs like this at the user 20%, we have to relaunch it again. So we will do that. Ubiquity -B. Enter. So let's do this a second time here. Yeah, that was good. Manual. Continue. Check the swap file. Check the ext4 file. Change it. Use the partition. ext4. Format it. Use root, which is the /. Okay. Wait a few seconds. Click on it. And then install now. And just wait. And then continue. Which you prefer for the mirrors of the software. Okay, let's continue here. Now this is the second attempt to finish the install. Should work just fine. If I do continue here, already have our username. Just put in your password. Your extremely secure password. Click continue once. Now let's see if it goes further the second time. Starts copying the files. It's at 92. Almost finished copying the files. And hopefully this time it will go further. Just wait a few seconds here. Looks like as if not much is happening here, but you see suddenly then it starts to copying the files. Reminds me of the movie from Bruce Willis, where it said that guy who was behind the computer, he said, just wait a few seconds, wait a few seconds more, just wait, and then suddenly it starts to copy all the files. Oh yeah, as you can see here, we got all your languages, the language pack, the LibreOffice pack. If it gives the system notification, just click on the cross to ignore that, and it will continue. Configure it in the hardware. It's not stuck yet, fortunately, so we just will continue as far as we can get. Removing the extra packages. Okay, just close this here. Don't restart the system, just press on the cross gives errors. Running dpkg. It's almost at the end here. libgtk. Okay. All right. Now here at the installation logs, it should block somehow. Ah, no, it has finished. Well, that's fantastic. You can continue testing Ubuntu, but until you restart the computer and change your main documents will not. Okay, don't restart now, but you click on continue testing. Okay, click on there, and now we will continue with the next steps. So let's grab the instructions here. Step 29, just this one here. We copy and paste them. Mount the mount part, the dev part, dev, just the developer part. Then we will mount the PTS. Mount the PTS. Mount the sys. Where is it? Right here. Mount the proc. This one. And now we're gonna do a cut resolve conf so that we can change the group file. Oh yeah. chroot mount. Almost there. There you go. And okay, so now we do this. And here we have to change the two lines, quiet boot and quick boot. We have to put 0 instead. And remove the 1. Control O to save, enter, Control X to exit. Alright, so let's see here. Change quick boot and quiet boot to 0, which we have done. Then the next step, step 40. apt-get grub AV. So install that again. Install again the md admin that will generate our Linux kernel. This command here we have to wait patiently. Because this one will generate our grub and Linux kernel 5.19.0 1006-low latency. Low latency will be used on Ubuntu Studio, and this will optimize your system for the applications of Ubuntu Studio. Now the next step will be this one here. We have to remove the metadata and the name part, which is right in this file here. Scroll down a little bit until you found metadata. Just remove that part. Watch out not to remove other things. Just this part here. And name. The rest, which comes after. And name. Alright. right, so once we have done that, Control O to save, enter, Control X. Okay, now let's do an update grub again. And then we do step 48, mount to boot AV. We have to do this one here, it's a little bit longer. Let's see what it is. This is a recheck. It's a little bit longer, this recheck option here. Can I select it? I think so. Put it a little bit smaller. Just like that. And paste it in here. Just like that. Alright, no errors reported. That's nice. Let's do now here Ubuntu grub. Again. And umount SDA1. And DD from SD1 to SDB1. Where is it? Right here. Alright, it gives records in and records out. That means everything is just fine. Now we have this command here, which is the AV boot manager command, and we will copy and paste that right there. There you go. And that was basically it. Now we can type in exit and exit 2 times. So exit. Exit is to exit from chroot and exit to exit from sudo. Yeah, and then we can type in reboot. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, please remove the installation medium. What we are going to do, I remove the USB stick for today and press enter. Oh yeah, the system is restarting now. Let's see what will happen. We will be greeted with a nice Ubuntu Studio option here. As you can see, the boot option, Ubuntu low latency, which is fantastic. We can also do advanced options if it's not starting, for example. You can go with another recovery mode, for example. If you go back, you just take this one, the Ubuntu low latency. Press enter. Oh yeah. There we have now our Ubuntu Studio logo. See if it comes to our login screen. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Just type in our extremely secure password. Oh yeah, and there we have our Ubuntu Studio installation on RAID 0. Let's check it on info, what we have here. As you can see here, we have 5.25.5. It finds already the updates, which we will do immediately. And devices, where is it? Graphics card is recognized. And on devices, we have also processors. Okay, 8 core. Where's the gparted? Let's install that just to check our gparted or partitions. Just install it very quickly just to check our partitions. Launch it. And there we have gparted. As you can see, our swap file is 8 gigs. Our RAID array is 5.45 terabytes, which consists of these 3 SSDs, each 2 terabytes. So in total we have like 6 terabytes on this machine. You can also check that if you go to Dolphin File Manager, which is right here. On the bottom it says 5.1 terabyte free. Okay. The programs are already installed, so that takes up some space, of course. Now, here we can run the update. Let's do that just for the purpose of this video, so we are all up to date. This is very important, so you have the latest versions of all the applications of the whole Ubuntu Studio. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we have our Linux desktop Ubuntu Studio up and running. I changed the background, added some more icons on the dock. I think it looks amazing. We got all the programs here at the top, also the start menu, and we are good to go. So in this video you saw how we can install Ubuntu Studio on RAID 0. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, hit that like button, and thank you for watching. And I see you in my next video. Adios.